Gemma.
Hi.
Welcome. Really looking forward to hearing a bit more about your story and your insights today. But let's start from the beginning. Why did you decide to start this business?
Okay, so it was quite, we were actually pitching for Bristol Zoo, I think, at the time, and I think we found that when you have confidence when you start thinking about a business, and you think we know we can do it, so you have a little bit of confidence, you know you can do it better, and that's something that we've always asked ourselves throughout the whole process, which is how can we do things better, different, or more creative. And I think when you find your tribe of people that you think, yes, we could go on this journey and adventure together, a roller coaster, shall I say, you have to bite the bullet. Lots of people have great ideas, but you've just got to do it and have a go.
Definitely. So you were out there doing it, and then you grew, and as the business scaled, how did your role change?
You've got to play to your strengths. So I decided to focus in on the marketing, the business development, and the strategic consulting in the specialism area with working with clients. So we've talked a lot today about the different elements of running the business. So you play to your strengths. Someone will look after operations, someone will look after finance, someone will look after health and safety, and then the marketing and business development. So find the bits of the business that you love the most and do those. I did payroll for a few weeks and then it rapidly got taken away from me.
Yeah. And just for those that don't know, could you just sum up in a nutshell what the business is?
Yes, so it was, we started off as a marketing and design agency, but we quickly found a specialism in culture, employee comms and engagement. And what we found at the time of the McCloud report, which was a big government study at the time, people communications and communicating creatively with employees is the way to deliver better productivity and a better customer experience. So we lasered in on that specialism, and that was the best thing we could have done.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting area, particularly for the journey that you then went on
Yes.
with your own team. So coming on to the sale then, how did that come about and what was the process like?
Yes, so I think we got to the 10-year mark of running, and it was time to really professionalise the business, and I know that's been mentioned earlier today as well. So we had some mentors. I can't stress the importance of having mentors along your journey. It's really helped to open your eyes as to what the business could do. And we decided to then make a big plan to really kind of grow up. So we created new roles, we created a structure and a management team, we moved offices, we looked at our own image. I mean, we're in kind of the marketing and design, so we really reflected on ourselves and decided it was time for the next big step to keep us as founders interested as well.
So it was a conscious decision.
It was, yeah.
And you were bought by an absolute juggernaut of a business into public. And how did that make things a bit more complicated with the sale, with it being US jurisdiction across a UK deal?
I would say the process of preparing for sale, it was about 2 years, a 2-year journey, and we had lots of advisors, M&A advisors, lawyers, mentors. We spoke to people that had been through the journey before, which was really important. I would say about the pre-sale process, it's the pitch of your life. You have to enthuse about that business. You know the market, you know the future, because that's what they're buying. They're buying the future. So you have to really do the pitch of your life, and I look forward to hearing the pitch session.
Pitch, yeah.
The second thing I'd say is you've got to think about the partner that you want to be with, as well as put their hat on and think about what kind of business do they want to buy, and what kind of structure should you be like that will make it easy for them to buy. And the third thing about the process, it was thorough. You have to be on it, your legals, your finances. The biggest lesson I think we had was run your business well from a paperwork point of view, because it was so thorough. There was hundreds of questions, right down to find me the cheque for £20 that you spent 7 years ago, on a courier and provide proof of that. So it was very detailed. And a really funny one, can you tell us if you have any aircraft?
Wow.
We said, what do you mean? We said, well, the last business we bought had a helicopter. So I think our answer at that point was, not right now, but maybe after the deal.
Yeah, that would be nice. So you did the deal and you end up being incorporated into McCann worldwide, and obviously a great base here in Bristol, which many will know. But your team of around 40 being integrated into that massive business, how was it for them and for you?
Yes, it was. It's a masterclass in change management and good change communications. I think we did the deal, then we had the pandemic immediately. Then we had to look at integrating with systems and processes, because you do lose a bit of entrepreneurial freedom when you join a big tanker, if you like, and you go from knowing everything to knowing nothing, because you're in a whole new business that you just don't know anything about. So I think on the one hand, the opportunities for our people, and we're an engagement business, so the opportunities, the learning, you know, we have our budget for learning before the deal, which was tiny. It was on the job learning. And then you go to a big company and you've got all the opportunity, all the markets, all the learning. So it was great for the people. So that's exciting. But then also you have more process, more policy, more rules. You have to ask for permission, or in my case, forgiveness quite a lot. And things, you're in a speedboat when you run your own show, and then it is slower. So you have to realise those changes. And I think you have to bring your people with you, and you have to help deliver for them, because I think whilst you've got all the opportunities, you're almost overwhelmed with, we've got all the countries in the world to go after. Where on earth do we start? How do you get those opportunities for your people? So I think in hindsight, I think I've learned you've got to be clear with your expectations on both sides, what you want out of it and what they want out of it. You have to be focused, because I was like a kid in a sweet shop. I was America, Middle East, you know, Canada, you know, I wanted to do everything, and you just can't. And it takes time to market yourself internally to that business, which we did spend a lot of time in our 4 years earning out in that process. So, and also you have a boss, so that's very unusual, having a boss for the first time. That's different. There's more process and reporting. So I think it's very different, and you need to be aware of those differences and just work out how you'll take your people through that, because quite often throughout the 4 years, I would have Interpublic saying, don't lose the entrepreneurial spirit. We love the bravery, the speed, the cheek, the kind of do it now mentality. But then they are a global business, and they do have process, and you do have to kind of follow the rules. And I think trying to retain the spirit of who you are and your people and your tribe in a very, you know, big global kind of environment, you've got to work hard at the culture. And that was probably, you know, that's the business that we offer our clients, but it was a lot of time and energy to look after our people and really deliver for them throughout that process.
Yeah, a couple of thoughts from what you've just said there. It's so interesting, and it must have been in many ways really frustrating for you going into that business and having to deal with the process and having a boss when you're used to really doing your own thing. So was it frustrating for you? And also, do you think you were kind of had to be a bit of a different boss with your team, because you kind of were all in it together, having moved into this big company, but then also you're struggling and you're going on a kind of a different journey to them in this earnout?
I think you have to, well, in any new job or moving in with someone new, there's a real getting to know you process. So I think you have to be patient and respectful, but then you mustn't lose your entrepreneurial edge, because that's what's been quite attractive in why you've been attractive in the first place. So there's a real balancing act for that. So I think there's a way of acting with your board, with your new management team, with your vice presidents, and then there's the way of kind of being with your team, because you've got to protect your team from all of those, you know, it's very commercial, it's pressurized, you've got to, whereas if you're on your own and you don't, say you miss a target yourselves, you go, okay, we'll recover from that. It's a very different ball game. So I think you can protect your people and kind of, but you need to help them on the journey. So I think there's the time and energy you give all of the different stakeholders. There's a lot of stakeholder management.
Yeah, and it sounds like from what you're saying that you handled your 4-year earn-out period, which just came to an end this February, right?
Yeah, just a few weeks ago.
You handled it quite well, but was that really the case? It must have been so challenging, and having somebody else's input on your baby.
Yeah,
how was that?
I think it felt like the right time. So that was it. It felt like the right time to give a global scaling, a new lease of life, and it needed those markets and that network ready-made. I think it was hard anyway. We've all been through a pandemic, we've integrated, we moved offices, we lost people we didn't think we'd lose, and we had to replace those people, and you had to reassure. So the layers of change just went on and on and on, and I think you just got used to every week or every month what's this week going to throw at us. So, but I've learned a huge amount. I've learned so much that I would never have learned that on my own. Working globally, entering new markets, almost kind of pitching over and over again, internally and externally, and then you would never have the door openings that you had with kind of the parent company name with you globally. That would be difficult as well. So I think it's different, but you just need to be ready.
Yeah, it is an exceptional experience, especially given the timing, because the sale went through just before the pandemic.
It was about a week before COVID.
Amazing. Yeah, we all know how unsettling that was when we're actually in our businesses and just trying to survive, and going through that must have been difficult. But you are out. What are you doing now?
Recovering.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a little bit of time just to reflect. I think it's challenging going from 100 miles an hour to just stopping. So I don't know what's next. I'm exploring, and I'm hoping to be able to help companies go through something similar, because we've been there, seen it and done it. So I'd love to share that and help others, but as longer term, what's next, who knows?
Yeah, we're just about to run out of time, but finally, any advice that you've got for any businesses here that are looking to sell their business?
Yeah, I would say probably, as I said earlier, you run a tight ship, so make sure your paperwork, your legals, your finances, your records are up to date. That's really, really critical. Be visible. Don't underestimate your own marketing. That's hugely important. It's be visible, work hard at that, because it's easy to let that slip when you get busy. Everyone says work on the business, not in the business. I don't think I mastered that one, if I'm honest, but that's good advice. And definitely surround yourself with help and support, whether it's advisors, mentors, friends. We've always been very good at asking for help, and this is a good environment to do that. So find people that will help you. Everyone's always so good with advice, and I don't know how we would have done it otherwise. So yeah. And good luck.
Amazing advice. Gemma, thank you so much for sharing your story.